3 months in, I found out he was using heroin. And by then I was like attached to him. I wanted to help. I didn't want to just leave him.
He lured you in.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
What was your life like growing up?
Sorry.
It's okay.
My dad, he was an alcoholic. He started drinking really, really bad when I was like 5. And before that, he was like my hero, my best friend. I did everything with him. And so I started noticing the changes when, I was like 5 or 6. He became really physically abusive towards my mom and then towards us kids. I have a brother and a sister. They're both older. And they always tried to protect me and would try to take my punishments and stuff so that I didn't have to. And his drinking just got out of control. We moved around a lot. I went to 5 different elementary schools. We've lived in Arizona. We've lived all over Metro Detroit. Like, so many cities I can't even name right now. But it was, we had everything we needed. We went on vacations. We had a camper, we had a trampoline in the backyard, a pool, things like that. But my mom worked midnights and my dad was always at the bar after work, so no one was ever really home. And my mom's always like, well, you had everything you wanted. But like, we wanted them. But yeah, my dad's sober now, so that's great. They have guardianship of my daughter, and they're amazing with her. I think my dad really loves his grandchildren more than he ever did us kids. But that's fine with me because my daughter's my everything. She's a good kid, and they're giving her the best life she could have, I'd like to give that to her one day.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. When did you start experimenting with drugs?
When I was 13, I think it was the first time I smoked weed. 14 was the first time I ever drank alcohol. And I just kind of messed around with those 2 things on and off throughout high school. And then when I was 17, that's when I started dating this guy that I had known since like 8th grade. He was a friend of my sister's. And we had German class together. And for a year, we sat next to each other and became like best friends. And then we started dating, and his older brother got him hooked on heroin. He tricked him and told him it was coke the first time he tried it, and it wasn't. And then I started dating him, and 3 months in, I found out he was using heroin. And by then I was like attached to him. I wanted to help, I didn't want to just leave him.
He lured you in.
Yeah. And I was like naive. Like I mentioned to you before, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought heroin, like homeless people in Detroit on church steps, like shooting up, needles sticking out of their arms, and I didn't know you could sniff it. So I was like, oh, that's not bad. That's not as bad as it could be, I guess. I just never thought it would get to where, I've been using half of my life.